Jack London was a super famous American writer. He came into this world in 1876. Oh, his family was really, really poor. When he was just a tiny boy, he had no choice but to work hard every day to help his family. You know, he might go to the fields to pick up some fruits or vegetables that could be sold for a little money. Jack had a big love for reading. He was so eager to read that he would grab every single book he could lay his hands on. But sadly, he didn't have much money in his pocket to buy new books. So where did he go? The library. That place was like a magical land for him. In the library, he could explore all kinds of books, from adventure tales to stories about faraway lands. When he reached the age of 10, things got even tougher. He had to leave school. School was fun, but his family needed him to earn money. He started to work and did all sorts of jobs. He entered a factory. Wow, it was so noisy in there that he could hardly hear himself think, and it was dirty too, with dust and dirt everywhere. Later on, he also worked as a sailor. Standing on the ship, he got to see the vast, blue sea stretching as far as the eye could see and different strange lands along the way. It was an exciting life, full of surprises, but it was also super dangerous. One day, while he was sailing, a huge storm hit. The wind blew so strongly that it felt like it could blow the ship away. The waves were like mountains, rising higher and higher. The ship was in big trouble. Jack and the other sailors knew they had to do something. They quickly tied ropes to hold things in place and rushed to close all the windows to keep the water out. They were all trembling with fear inside, but they didn't give up. After a really long and exhausting fight, the storm finally calmed down. Jack was so tired that he could barely move, but at the same time, he felt a strange kind of strength. This whole scary experience gave him so many ideas that he would use in his writing later. As Jack grew older, he made up his mind. He wanted to become a writer. He wanted to share his own life, all the things he had seen and felt. But it was not a smooth road at all. In the beginning, when he sent his stories to the publishers, they just shook their heads. They said his writing was too basic or just not interesting enough to catch people's eyes. But did Jack London give up? Nope. He just sat down at his old, rickety desk every single day and kept on writing. He lived in a really small and shabby room. There wasn't much space, and sometimes it was even cold in winter. Every day he would sit there, staring at the blank paper in front of him, and pour out his thoughts. Sometimes he didn't even have enough food to fill his stomach. But he not care. All he cared about was his stories. He wrote about the poor people he had met, the back-breaking hard work he had done, and the thrilling adventures he had at sea. Finally, after countless rejections and efforts, one of his stories got published. People read it and liked it. It was a story about the life of a sailor, full of hardships and small joys. After that, things started to change. More and more of his stories were printed and shared. Jack London became a household name. People from all over the world were picking up his books and getting lost in his words. His most famous book, The Call of the Wild, is truly amazing. It's about a dog named Buck. Buck had a cozy life at first, with a warm place to sleep and enough food to eat. But then, something terrible happened. He was stolen and sold. Suddenly, he found himself in the wild. He had to learn fast how to hunt for food, how to fight off other animals to protect himself. The story really shows how powerful the call of the wild can be. It also shows the special friendship that Buck formed with some other animals. Many people read this book and were deeply touched by Buck's journey. Another well-known book of his, White Fang, is also about an animal. White Fang was a wolf dog. His life was so hard. People were mean to him when he first met them. They threw stones at him and chased him away. But luckily, a kind-hearted man came along. This man showed White Fang kindness and care. Slowly, White Fang learned to trust people again. This book tells us that no matter how tough the world is, there's always a chance for love and kindness to shine through. Jack London wasn't just a great writer. He was also a man who adored life. He loved to travel. He went all the way to Alaska to search for gold. There, he witnessed the breathtakingly beautiful nature. The snow-capped mountains, the clear rivers, it was all so amazing. But he also saw the difficult lives of the people who were chasing the same dream of finding gold. All these different experiences became the precious materials for his writing. In his later years, Jack London still didn't stop writing. But his health started to fail him. He had problems with his body. It was getting harder and harder for him to sit for long hours and write. But he was so passionate about writing that he just kept going. In 1916, Jack London passed away. But even today, his books are still flying off the shelves. People can learn so much from them. They can understand what life was like in the past, how people face difficulties with courage, and how important it is to love nature. Jack London's story is like a bright light, telling us that if we have a dream and we hold on tight, never giving up, we can make that dream come true one day.